Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with. It's the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thanks, as always, for making your way here and checking out the series. You know what to do. You like what you hear, what you see. Hit that subscribe button. I put out 3 new interviews every single week, so it's a great way to keep up with all of your favorite artists. I got to tell you, one of my all-time favorites, one of the all-time greats, Mike Campbell on here. Hello, sir.
Hello. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Back with a new album with the Dirty Knobs, and once again, an electrifying set. I hope you don't mind starting with the congratulations on this, but congratulations. This is another great album.
Thank you very much. It's always good to get a congratulations.
It's called External Combustion. I don't know if you're planning on a bit of a theme here, but looking at the 2 albums with the Dirty Knobs now, Wreckless Abandon and External Combustion, at least with the titles goes, are you leaning into something here? Because you talk about preaching the gospel of rock and roll. I kind of feel it right there.
Yeah, we're thinking of calling the tour the Wreckless Combustion Tour. Yeah, we're it's a rock and roll band, so we're carrying the torch.
Yeah, that's true, because you guys didn't really get the tour that the last record at all. Is like that's you get finally like 2 albums at once. Is that a lot to tackle?
No, it's good because now we have a full set of original songs. It was really rough the way it happened for everybody, but here we are. Things are opening up, and we have a nice big set list. Not too many covers now because we have album songs we got to put on there. Yeah. And the band's sounding great. We leave in about a week. We're out there.
It's almost like touring a double album, sort of, in a way.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the band does sound great on here. Capturing that sound, you've talked about this in other interviews, especially like capturing that live sound on a record. So many artists talk about doing that, and I don't feel like a lot of times everyone succeeds. You all seem to pull it off. Why is that so hard to really do this?
It's not hard. I guess it's just what you are. It's not hard for me or this band. This band is great, and we just play like that, And we approached it like we want to make it as live as possible. We want the 4 guys playing. We want to hear the kinetic energy in the track, which we accomplished. And most of the guitar solos are live on the floor during the take. Very few overdubs. On this second record, External Combustion, we did take some liberties with some strings and horns in 1 or 2 songs just because we wanted to. But as a rule, it's a rock and roll boogie band, and we play on the records the way we sound live.
Yeah. Does it? A lot of times you might get the opportunity to road test a lot of songs. Obviously, that wasn't able to happen going into that one. Does that affect when you're really trying to, I don't know, give the song is it all grown up by the time it makes the record, or is this just one of those moments in times where the song still gets to take off later?
Well, it's a good question. The songs can grow after we played in front of the audience a couple of times. Some of the things may change a little in the arrangements, but this band's been together for a long time. We have a lot of telepathy, and we can think on our feet, and it's just it's a give or take with the audience. You just try to connect with them. We don't have any hits per se, so we have to prove it on the stage in the moment, which I'm used to doing, and I love doing that. But it's just a joy. The main thing with us is we want to have fun. The record, you can tell we're having fun making it, and we want to have fun playing it live. So if you're having fun, you're usually pretty good at it.
You might not think you have a hit, but the real estate inside my brain tells me otherwise, because how often I go around with the title track, especially to Wreckless Abandon, it takes up a lot of my mental power, I think, right there. And that's not a complaint.
Thank you. I would like to have some hits someday.
Well, let's talk about some of the songs on this record, because not just the live sound, not just the boogie that you've got, but there's some serious poetry on here that I picked out: In This Lifetime, State of Mind, where you're going with the lyrics. I hope you don't mind the broad question here. I'll keep this one broad. Did you find that you were going to anywhere specific when you got into the lyric writing of this album?
Well, I wanted to flesh out the lyrics a little bit more. I'm getting where I really enjoy writing lyrics, and I love getting into the characters of the song. I mean, most of our songs are very simple, party songs, but occasionally it's nice to have a storyline, and like a little movie. And I got where I was getting a little deeper into that and maybe trying to explore the rhyme schemes a little bit and stretch the lyrics out a little where they're a little more interesting. And I found that that's really fun, not just settle for the first thing that rhymes, And I look at them like little movies, who are these characters? Where are they? What are they doing? What are they trying to accomplish? And some of them, may have dark themes here and there, but I always try to have hope and redemption at the end of the song. So however the song may go, at the end, I want people to feel good, like everything is going to be okay. And the Heartbreakers always did that with their songs. It was always hope at the end.
Yeah. No one ends up on the bad street at the end of the songs with yours.
No, I don't want anybody slitting their wrists at the end of the tune.
It's good. No, I appreciate that too. I mean, the pick-me-ups there. I brought up State of Mind. You got Margo Price on here, one of a few guests. And gosh, she's one of our favorites over here at WFPK. And you all really, I mean, that chemistry works. Did you know her beforehand? What's the story of having her on the record?
No, I did not know her. She had reached out through my management with her and her husband, Jeremy Ivy, to do some writing, which I'm not used to doing, writing with other people. And so they came out and we hung out for a couple of days and wrote some songs. And I happened to have that song up in the studio. And I asked her, if she would be interested in singing on it with me. And she was so gracious. I just love her. She's so pure. Her voice is pure and real. And she sang a verse and some harmonies, and she really put her heart into it. And she made the song so much better. So I just love her.
Yeah. No, when you say wrote some songs, though, that's plural. We've heard one here. What happened to the other ones?
Well, I hope some of them might show up on her next record. That was the idea, is to help write for her. I gave her a couple of songs I had, and we worked on a couple together. But she's been touring. I don't know where those songs are at the moment, but maybe they'll see the light of day.
Yeah, that's exciting right there.
Yeah.
Ian Hunter, the other guest on here too. I read surprisingly that you had never met Ian before this. How was that? How was that possible?
I am a lucky guy. Things just come to me like Margo. And he came to me too. It was a phone call to the office. He had some music. He asked if I would overdub some guitar on it. And I've always loved Mott the Hoople and Ian. It's just, there's something really cool about his style and his writing. So I did a guitar overdub, sent it back. He liked it. He sent me another one. I did it. He sent it back. He liked it. So I got a little brave and I said, well, would you consider maybe singing on one of our songs? And surprisingly, he said, yeah. So I sent him this song, Dirty Job. And he sang a verse and some harmonies and put some piano on it. And I was just thrilled. I was just so lucky to be in the right place at the right time with that one.
Yeah, man. One of the greats, heroes of the genre here, rock and roll. I mean, put you on the spot. You got a favorite from Mott?
All the way from Memphis.
That makes sense. That makes sense right there.
Yeah.
Bridget Bardot also, that was a nice surprise on this record. Is there a little bit, like, did you have Dylan in mind at all on that one? Because when I heard that, maybe it's because the only other song I can think of that brings up Bridget Bardot is a Bob Dylan song, but that was sort of, that had the feeling to me in that track.
What song is that?
Oh God, now you put me on the spot. I should have had that information. It's one of his Talkin' Dream songs, I think.
Okay, I don't know what song. I'm sure people have used her name before. And that was, it's funny because I was just talking to a French journalist and he wanted to talk all about Bridget Bardot. And I got so excited, I called the office and said, could we send her the song? Just send it to her, see if she likes it. But that was a track, a piece of music, just a group that I really liked. And I love the sound of Bridget Bardot. I just thought that was a great sounding word. And like, she was like every young man's wet dream back in the day, so I thought she'd be the perfect character for the song. And I like the part about, you shake, get on the floor, shake for me and flash your baby blues just for me. I thought that was kind of cute. It's just a party song. So Thank you, Bridget.
Yeah. Well, Dylan, that was his main point of it too, that she was everyone's, as you say, wet dream back in the day. Let's I'm trying to remember. It's like it's something about unless I'm getting my lyrics mixed up. His was you want to populate America, get everybody a picture of Bridget Bardot.
Yeah, Bob. Bob is a constant source of inspiration for me. Let me get rid of this phone.
Sure.
I have a landline that I hardly ever use anymore, but I get telemarketers all the time. Yeah, Bob Dylan is always in the back of my mind. A great inspiration, and I try to emulate his approach as much as I'm capable of doing it. But he told me once, which is a really good tip. He said, when you're writing a song, you've got your verses and your bridge and your chorus. And he said, because with the Heartbreakers, we get 3 verses written. For the first one, they come out, we're done. Okay, let's move on. He said, don't stop with that. Write 20 verses while you're in the zone, and the last ones might be better than all the other stuff you had. So I try to do that. I tend to now, rather than just settle for the first thing that rhymes, I'll try to stretch it out and write extra verses and see what happens. So on this album, there's a little more lyric adventure, I guess.
Yeah. Well, geez, getting songwriting advice from Bob Dylan, that's not nothing.
No.
Lightning Buggy, I was going to bring that one up too, because what a fun track that is, as we talk about good party songs right there. I'll kind of put this one in similar territory. Do you find that you're channeling anyone there? I didn't have anyone in mind like Dylan, but that seems such like just one of those great boogie songs.
I don't think I just like the dunga 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 dunga. I wanted a fast boogie, and so I thought, it sounds like a lightning. It's a lightning boogie, and then it was just really written really quickly. The lyrics are not very deep on it, but it's mostly just about having fun and a burst of adrenaline. It's really great live. We've been rehearsing. That's going to be a great live song.
Yeah, that feels like I've of course got to bring up Benmont is on there. You've got back on there, so just a natural thing. That I don't know if that's as big as to you as it is for us fans, but that's a pretty big deal.
It's a big deal for me too. I love Benmont, and we haven't played together much. And I'd already finished the track, and he happened to come into town that week, and I thought he'd be great on it. So he came over and play it once or twice, and that was it. He's quick.
Professionals, all of you. Do you talk to the guys much these days?
Yeah, I've been talking to the guys recently. I started doing this little interview show for Tom Petty Radio, where I'm going to interview everybody in the band. And I've talked to Ron and Ben, and I talked to Stan, Peroni, Thurston I talked to. So I'm getting back in touch with them a little bit, but I haven't talked much in the last couple of years because we're so isolated,
Mm-hmm. For a lot of times, especially in these situations, the idea starts to become about the archival projects. Is that something you all work on? Is there a big archive left to still unearth with the work that you all have done over the past 45 years?
Well, no. I don't like going back and reliving nostalgia, especially under such sad circumstances. But we have a great engineer who's been doing that, going back and digging through all the leftover tracks and jams and this and that. And some of that stuff will come out eventually. But I don't really feel emotionally like taking that on right now. I'm still grieving,
Mm-hmm. Which is, when you find a track like Keep a Little Soul, which, by the way, just thank goodness that one came out, finding those gems in there. Those are and that one too. What God, what I was reading that was on going to be, you guys did that for Long After Dark session, which, as it turns out, coincidentally, as I'm bringing this up, the 40th anniversary year for that little record right there. And I
remembered, I liked that song. It didn't make our record at the time, but we were working with Jimmy Iovine, and we actually, I hope it still exists. We went and did that track with Darlene Love singing, and she really was good on that song. So yeah, there's stuff that's left in the vaults that will come out eventually, but I'm not hands on with that. They find something, they'll send it to me, and I'll sign off or not sign off on it.
Yeah.
But I'm busy, I don't have time to go looking through old tapes.
We'll listen to them for you. Not the old tapes, but like that record. I did revisit. I guess I hadn't listened to Long After Dark in a little while, and it was just a good excuse to put that on. And that record, going back on it now, like I was surprised. It drives the whole time. Like even the mid-tempo songs, there's a drive that just pushes and pushes and pushes on that record. I don't know if you hear it like that, but like, whatever you can say about that record, I'd love to hear it, because what a great little gem of an album that one is.
Yeah, it drives. We are driven. It was recorded at the record plant, I remember, with Jimmy Iovine. We went into another studio we didn't normally use, and we did it relatively quick. I'd have to go back and listen to it again. I haven't heard it in a while. I think that has You Got Lucky on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I like that one a lot. We had fun making that record, and I think because we were at a new studio, maybe we were a little more excited. I don't know.
Did you ever? I'm not projecting here, because it doesn't ever feel like you did where the music goes. I mean, Heartbreakers had a very successful 80s, but coming out of the 70s, did you ever feel at odds with what was happening with pop culture in the 80s, the way music was going? Like when I hear that synth on You Got Lucky and think about where stuff like New Wave was headed and everything, was that ever part of that conversation?
Yeah, and it's interesting, that era, when I hear it now, I can hardly listen to it. All those 80s snare drums, echo records. Ugh, I'm glad that didn't last. What's interesting about You Got Lucky is I did write it on a synthesizer, because I happened to have one of Ben's keyboards at my house. And the same thing with Boys of Summer, I did on a keyboard, wrote it. But with the Dirty Knobs right now, we got our set together, which is mostly the 2 albums, but we have a handful of Heartbreaker songs that we're going to do from time to time. And You Got Lucky is one of them. But we don't have a synthesizer. I just do it on the guitar, like, It almost sounds like London Calling. And the song works really good that way without that synthesizer. So, yeah, the 80s production, I usually skip the channel when this stuff comes on now. I like to sit. That was my era. I like songs to sound like that.
Yeah, you do that well. You do that really well.
So
the tour's coming up. And I know that's the main focus. Is Fleetwood Mac, are you still involved in that at this point? Is that still taking up part of your time?
No. No to both questions. We did a long tour, and it was a wonderful experience. I don't really know what they're up to. We had a meeting at the end of the 2 years or whatever, and everybody was really tired, and they all decided, let's just take a few years off. John wants to sail on his boat. Stevie wants to do some solo gigs. Christine wants to, tend to her garden in England, and Mick wanted to go to Hawaii. So we didn't break up per se. But it's an open question. I kind of think that might be a ship that sailed already for me. But if something came up and I had a free schedule and they had called me and wanted me to do anything, I would be there, because I love those guys. They're great people.
Yeah, just what an interesting little chapter in all of your careers right there. That was kind of fun to watch. Thing.
Cool, really. Things just come to me. I'm so lucky. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, continuing what you do right here with the Dirty Knobs. I mean, again, 2 excellent records. This new and External Combustion. I really, really am hopeful to see some of the shows out on this tour, because the way these songs sounds, the way you're talking about them, what you're doing, this does sound like a whole lot of fun.
The band sounds incredible, I must say. I'm so excited. We just finished our rehearsal yesterday, and the gear's on the way to Florida. But the band is tight and excited, and we have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Is quickly, I'll ask, is it one of the other members singing on It Is Written? Because it is another vocalist on that, right?
You know what? That's funny. Somebody else said that, but that's all me.
Is that you? You sound different in a spot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to go hear that again with that in mind. But somebody else mentioned that. I said, not on that song. No, it's just me.
Yeah. I didn't know if you were sort of doing turning over the lead vocal duties to one of the other folks at the
guitar player on certain songs. Maybe I did, and I just don't remember. I'll have to go hear it again. But to my memory, that was all me. Maybe I just affected my voice for that character here and there. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Mike, thank you so much for taking the time again. Congratulations on this new record and everything that you're doing recently. We're such big fans, and I love that you're continuing to, once again, I'll say, preach this gospel of rock and roll. You do it so well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, man.